Welcome to Marketplace Believers. By the way, do you know that it is very easy, it is possible to spot a dying organization? This is Marketplace Believers, an online platform that engages, equips, and encourages believers to say, Ina Owezekana. If this is your first time to be here, we encourage you to hit the subscribe button so that YouTube can notify you every time when we upload a video. My name is John Kimani. We continue with the part B of our series on the signs of a dying organization. If you are interested, previously we had discussed the five stages, the five stages of a dying organization and what to do about it. We talked about the phases of decline, then we talked about the symptoms of dying organization, and then section C actually talks about the turnaround strategy to revive a dying organization. We talked about the phases of decline. You can look at them. There is the hubris born of success. We talked about the undisciplined pursuit of more, where you do things without thinking beyond your capacity. Then there is the denial of peril and risk. We talked about grasping for salvation, and then of course it goes to capitulation to irrelevance or death. Then we talked about the tail signs, the symptoms of a dying organization. We talked about in a church, as it is about prayerlessness. We talked about the decreasing church attendance, that is labor turnover goes high. Then there's the lack or low or lack of conversions. People don't come. Then there's the change is resisted. Then we talked about the symptom number 5, which is permissiveness, and I think we listed there. And allow us today to pick on the 6th symptom of a dying organization, and then here it goes: overlooking the customer. Overlooking the customer. How you handle a customer complaint is critical component to the longevity of your business. We need to say that again. How you handle your customer's complaint is a critical component in the longevity of your business. We need to say that customer is the most important. Customer is the most important ingredient of any business. A satisfied customer, we are saying, is the best business strategy of all. Now, one source makes this observation: customers have power. Underline that one. Customers have power more than ever. If customers have a positive experience of your company, they will share this experience with who? With 3 people. Okay, and we need to say them so that you can hear them loud and clear. And here they are. Number 1, they will share this experience with friends. Number 2, they will share this experience with family members, and then with their connections. So note, when every time if customers have a positive experience with your company, they will share this experience with friends, family members, and connections, which in turn lead to new business, all at a zero cost. All at a zero cost. When a customer is unhappy with the service, the following 4 things happen. Number 1, a damaged reputation. A damaged reputation. Whenever a customer is not treated well, he or she can write a bad review. About your company, or worse, he can vent it. He or she can vent it out on social media. And of course, this will definitely have a dent on how the outside world views the company. So it's advisable to reach out. It's advisable to reach out to those unhappy customers as soon as possible. Okay, before they write those negative reviews on social media. Okay, I hope you are getting me. Remember, we are saying 88% of your customers will base their decision will base their decision on purchase on these reviews. Warren Buffett, wealthy investor, made this observation. It takes 20 years to build reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you will do things. Maybe you need to add the word differently. If you think about that, you will do things differently. Okay? You will do things differently. Okay? Think about it. It takes how many years? 20 years to build a reputation and only 5 minutes to destroy it. If you think about that, you will do things differently. Number 2, something that unhappy customers will do, not only will they damage your reputation, but again, customer loyalty goes down. Customer loyalty goes down. This means that the customer never comes back to your shop again. And did you know, by the way, 9 out of 10 of customers say they are willing to pay more just to ensure a good customer experience. And as much as 70% will continue to do business with you if you resolve a complaint. Number 3, egos walk away. Egos walk away. When a customer is angry, they will make the employees, of course, experience burnout. Within no time, your best employees will leave the organization and worst employees will come in. So the best employees will walk out, and the worst employees will walk in. If an organization is treating customers badly, then there is a likelihood that they are treating employees badly. Wisdom demands that customers' complaints are addressed promptly and effectively. Number 4, business closes down. Business closes down. By the way, you know that 1 out of 26 customers complains, but then you know it is 1 out of 26 customers who complain. The rest say nothing. Customers bring cash. Customers bring cash once they buy the products and services. And when they fail to step in, dear ones, profit margin, of course, goes down. And one cannot meet the running cost of the business, leading to close down. Now, customers bring cash, and we are saying cash is the lifeblood. Cash is the lifeblood of any business. When you don't have cash, you're unable to pay the bills, you're unable to grow the business, and you starve the business to its death. At all times, we are saying don't ignore customers' complaints. A complaint shows that there needs to be improved in your product or business. And wisdom demands that you don't treat complaints equally. In fact, let me give you some guiding questions. Listen to these guiding questions. Number 1, has this happened before? Has this happened before? Question number 2, have the complaints been recorded? Have the complaints been recorded? It is very important for you to ask the question, have this happened before? Have the complaints been recorded? Number 3, how often does the same complaint arise? How often does the same complaint arise? Okay, you want to check the frequency. How often the same complaint have been recorded? Number 4, is there a pattern to this complaint in how it was received? Is there a pattern to this complaint in how it was received? Maybe it was a phone call, maybe it was verbal, maybe it was written. Okay. Number 5, has the same customer reported this previously? Has the previous customer reported this previously? Every business leader needs to handle customers well. We are saying excite your customers about your product and services. Always do more. Always do more than is required of you. Reason number 7 why, among the signs of, symptoms of a dying organization is failure to innovate. Failure to innovate. Let's ask a question. By the way, why do organizations fail to innovate? Good question. Why do it fail to be businesses, especially the big organizations? Why is it that they don't innovate? There is an article with the title "Why Innovation Fails: The Top 10 Causes" by Phil McKinney, and he shares the following. Number one, a lack of problem identification. Lack of problem identification. That means you are not able to identify what is the problem. Every organization, however robust it is, has problems. It might be the problem with the cash flow. It might be the problem with the market. It might be a problem with the competition. Is facing the stiff competition. It might be a price. Maybe the price is too high, or maybe it might be that the product is not is actually getting irrelevant, or it might be customers are no longer interested in the product and they prefer the competitor's product. It is very important that before you think of innovation, you ask yourself, what is the problem? You really need to understand the problem. A business leader needs to ask the question, which problem will this new idea solve? You just don't need to go out there and embrace any innovative idea for the sake of being innovative. You really need to ask yourself as a leader, now that there is this new innovation, which particular problem will this innovation able to address? That is very, very important. So in other words, what we are saying, you need to match the problem with the innovation. Listen to this order. You need to identify the problem and then match it with the innovation. And the innovation actually needs to be a solution to the problem that is existing. Number two, when it comes to why organizations are unable to innovate, is because they are inability to generate good ideas. The inability to generate good ideas. The ability to generate good ideas can only be facilitated in an environment where we call blue sky environment. A blue sky environment is an environment that actually thinking without boundaries, thinking without limitations, thinking without imagining that you can be stopped. Actually, when you think blue sky, you answer to the question, what is it that you can do if you had all the resources at your table? And so it encourages thinking without limitation. You can only generate good ideas as long as you see the possibilities. The reason why David was able to conquer Goliath is because he engaged himself in what we call blue sky thinking. Blue sky thinking actually helps you to imagine, to innovate. It helps you to learn the wild. It helps you to think without impossibilities. Number three, poor execution of the idea. Poor execution of the idea. Well, you can create an environment where brilliant, great, wonderful ideas are generated. But again, how do you implement? How do you execute? How do you turn those ideas into reality? Remember, an idea is something that is in the head, but it needs to be put physically. The building that you see, the objects, the moving objects that you see were only an idea that has been turned into a reality. Number four is lack of funding or support. You can have this wonderful, great idea, but when it fails to receive two things, if it's not funded, or if it does not receive support, then of course you do not expect that organization to innovate. Every year in this country, there is science congress that are held, and there are projects that actually presented, and some actually win. The big question that we ask, do those ideas get funding? Do they get support? Are the people given wings, so to speak? Are they given legs to be able to walk? Are they funded? Are they supported? And many promising innovations get cancelled. They die actually because they don't get funding and they don't get support. Then there's the whole issue of lack of a clear plan. Lack of a clear plan is something that actually makes organizations not to innovate. Remember, without a plan and a clear plan, a step by step on how you're going to proceed, then of course you cannot be able to innovate. Then there is the whole issue of implementation challenges. Implementation challenges. Implementation challenges have everything to do with technical issues, to failure to include key players in the implementation phase, inability to understand what needs to be required at the implementation level. Then there is the cultural barriers. Cultural barriers might be the individual, the team, the organization level. The inability to sync, the ability to receive acceptance by the environment around there. Then number 8 is sitting of innovation antibodies in key seats. The sitting of innovation antibodies in key seats. These are persons who actually have not bought into the new idea. When they sit, they sit in the key seats, when these antibodies, and we are calling them innovation antibodies, they don't like innovation. For them, they have a habit of saying no to any change. If the leadership gives them responsibility to such people, of course they will create. Anybody who is an innovation antibody is somebody who has the anointing of saying no to innovation. Then number 9, the whole issue of poor timing. Poor timing. Before implementing a change, we are saying there is a need to have secured buy-in from the key stakeholders, as well as release, innovate at a time when the market is actually anticipating, is actually ready for the change. Every time when you bring an innovation and the market is not ready, what they are going to do is that they are going to reject it. The reason why Apple products are, they have bigger market share, much as the price range is a bit higher than Android products, is because before they release the market, before they launch the product, the market is ready for the product. And then finally, number 10, reason why products, companies fail to innovate is because of customers' disinterest. No matter how great the innovation is, customers want to buy it if they are not interested. They need to be interested. They need to be hooked. And so we are saying it is critical to understand the business cycle. Understand the business cycle. And a business cycle goes through the following things. I believe if you look at your notes, you see a graph there. And then the first cycle is launch, startup. Launch or startup. This is when a product is launched. This is when a new business enters the market. And of course, as you can see, the growth, the profit margin is actually rising up. Then it goes to the second stage called growth. The growth is high up. The business is market share is big. But then it plateaus, okay? And it just actually goes either through things. If rebirth does not happen, which is at that level, if rebirth does not happen at that level, after going to the maximum, the next thing that needs to be done, there needs to be a rebirth. If rebirth is not done, what happens? There is decline. And we are saying at this level, innovate so as to thrive against competition. Okay? Right? So those so we are saying launch, then growth, then there's maturity where the organization plateaus, and you're saying at maturity level, two things can happen. If there is no rebirth, so that the organization keep on growing, then there is decline. And we are saying at maturity level, that is the best time to innovate. Okay? A practical example worth quoting maybe for us is Kimbo, a product of then the East Africa Company. Remember, they packed the Kimbo in oil tin that was actually hard to open. And at times, if you open it badly, the tin would cut you. And you know, Kimbo was the household name. And because of failing to innovate, when everybody was saying Kimbo, then came then came what we call Tilly. Tilly came in, and you know they repackaged their cooking oil in plastic, easy to open. They also said you can use this package after you used with the oil. You can use it to keep foodstuffs. It can be a storage facility. I'm telling you, that was the end of Kimbo. The market share of Kimbo started dropping and Tilly was ruling the market. Why? Because when Kimbo reached maturity level, instead of innovating, instead of thinking, okay, the customers are complaining that yes, they don't want things are very difficult to open, you know, so why don't we think of innovating? Because one of the biggest problem with when companies reach maturity level, they think we are too big. Sisi ni wakubwa, nani kama sisi? They think they are invisible, nobody can bring them down. The reason why Goliath was killed by a small boy is because he felt he is up there who can defeat them. Well, this is Marketplace Believers, an online platform that engages, equips, and encourages believers to say ina uwezekana. My name is John Kimani, and until next time when we come on air, thank you very much for following us on Facebook, and those of you that have been following us on what we call Facebook and YouTube. Thank you very much, and may the Lord be with you and bless you. If you have any question, please, we encourage you to ask us the question. Remember, next time when we come on air, we shall talk about the turnaround strategy to revive a dying organization. What is it that we need to do? If the organization is dying, what is it that you need to do to revive it? My name is John Kim, and remember what you always say here, inawezekana.